The absurdity of the West just never ceases to amaze me. So now America is floating the idea of arresting Ibrahim Traore because they say that Ibrahim Traore is a threat. A threat to who?
I can imagine a situation, though, in which the ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that in order to the benefit of the strongman leader and not to the populace of the country. Does that sort of corruption and bribery go on with regard to the Belt and Road?
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
Basically, what America is saying is that Ibrahim Traore has refused to let international mining companies mine Burkina Faso's gold because he believes that Burkina Faso's gold belongs to Burkina Faso people. Okay? The Burkinab. Okay? I think this is what they call them. He believes that his country's wealth belongs to the people who were born and they live in Burkina Faso. Okay? And because of this, Americans are now seeing him as a threat. And the reason he's a threat is because Africa is changing. Africa is changing its mentality. And he is showing Africans how to stand up to these greedy, blood-sucking people. He kicked out the French. And the French tried to say, no, we're here to help you solve crime. We're here to help you solve the terrorism. And he was like, but you are the terrorists. You are the terrorists. You're the colonizers that keep terrorizing us. And now a video has been circulating of an American general saying that Burkina Faso, that Ibrahim Traore is a major threat. He's a major threat because he has refused to accept democracy. He is basically focused on Black African interests. And that is the biggest threat.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagire here. Thanks for clicking on this video. So this is something that is quite concerning. Actually, it is very, very concerning because this is the only person that I think we have in the continent right now that is doing things that are better for his people, and that is the president of Burkina Faso, Mr. Ibrahim Traore. Okay, and for the longest time, ever since he came into power, the West has always been calling him a dictator, always been trashing him, always been, pushing this propaganda like he's a dictator that does not care for his people, he's selfish, he's only for himself. But when you look at the right, at the right thing of it, and you really open the curtains, this is the man that is like the youngest right now in Africa as a president. And he is this person that is open to go and talk to his people and literally do things that are better for his people. This is the same person that woke up one day and was like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, we've been taken advantage of a lot as African people, as like the people of Burkina Faso, and we have gold, okay? We have all these resources that we have. Why is it that it is France, most especially France, because it is what colonized Burkina Faso? They are the ones controlling our minds. They are the ones controlling our places. They bring their armies and military and put their bases in our country. Why is that so? So he woke up one day and he was like, you know what? I need France out of Burkina Faso. And he made it happen. Like, literally, France picked up themselves and they left. And, Macron came out and was threatening, Burkina Faso and saying all these things and, trying to make us feel like we are still in the ancient times of our ancestors where they came and bullied them, if that makes sense. But no, this man stood on business and he kicked them out. But it turns out that France really lost when it came to Burkina Faso because they are no longer like interesting for the people of Burkina Faso. Like, they do not want to see France anymore in their country. And I think they also changed the French language. Like, they banned it. I think it's no longer like the official language. It's there, but it's not the official language, which is amazing. Like, we need this kind of leaders in Africa, right? But it seems to me and to a lot of Africans like France had to run to Big Brother Trump to now be able to say that they want Ibrahim Traore arrested because he's a selfish man who is using the resources like gold of Burkina Faso and the people of Burkina Faso to just enrich himself, like he's just an elite man who is in power, taking over the gold to himself and not bettering the people of Burkina Faso, which is ridiculous. Like, the propaganda of the West really, guys, gets to you. And I'm like, with the problems that Trump is, having right now, with also, let's say, with China, and how China is really showing how strong they are as a nation, now they have to come and pick up on African nations. So they want to break this man who is doing things that are bettering the people of Burkina Faso, the same way they did those things of taking down African leaders that were always doing best for Africa. And it's really annoying because they also use black faces. Like, the man who is like responsible to take on this commission is a freaking black man, is a freaking African American or black American man who they are using to now want to take on this mission of arresting this, president of Burkina Faso and take him down. Like, make it make sense.
All right, it looks like it's time for us to go save the people of Burkina Faso. This guy got on U.S. Senate hearing and said that the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, has become a threat to his own people. You already know what that means, what that sounds like. That means it's time for us to go liberate the people of Burkina Faso. And of course, they're going to use a black man. The blackface is always a house nigga. Every time they're going to use, every time they want to use violence on black people, they use a black man from the West to come bring it on Africans. When they want to use sweet talk, it's always a black woman. You see, this guy's used violence for Burkina Faso. When they wanted to do the, what was it called it? What was it in Kenya? The bill they were trying to introduce, where if you owed too much taxes, the IMF could take your land. It was black American congresswomen they used to send them to Kenya. Like, America has realized they have black people in power who they can use now to destroy Africa. But yes, this house nigger, Michael Langley, is now the guy who's going to be the face of America going into Burkina Faso. Look it up. He got on the Senate hearing and said, but Ibrahim Traore is a threat to his own people.
Can you see how disgusting the statement from Donald Trump, the president of the US, is? Just imagine coming out openly to say that the gold that Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is asking from the Emmanuel Macron of France is for his selfish interest. Just imagine. So disgusting a statement from a whole president of the US, Donald Trump. It's so very, very shameful that he will be the first person to come out, having sleepless nights and coming out, just because Africa is louding their voice, just because Africa is agitating to have their own sovereign continent and begin to run their own thing and use their resources that has been stolen for all these years, use it to touch the lives of the people, and Donald Trump being the first person to come out and begin to cry. What a shame. What a shame. Emmanuel Macron opening his mouth to say Africa should be grateful. Although these are the hypocrisy I'm talking about. All of these Western leaders, for all of these years, they use all their tactics to begin to hold down Africa. And many of our leaders, especially the old ones, begin to play to their tune. Now young people are coming out in revolution to begin to do things the way it ought to be. And old people who have held Africa down for all these years cannot sleep. And they have to come out and be making disgusting statements. It's so unfortunate. But right now, the time has come. Enough is enough. All of this imperialism holding Africa down and making Africa suffer, even in their wealth, even in their abundant resources, they begin to suffer. Enough is enough. So Donald Trump should go and tell that to a child, that the demand of the gold Emmanuel Macron of France has carried away from Burkina Faso should be returned, and that will make Donald Trump to begin to make unnecessary statements. Very shameful. Now the West, they are having sleepless nights because Africa is becoming, they are waking up and they want to do things that they ought to do and place Africa where it belongs. It's very, very, very unshameful and very disgraceful that the West that have benefited from Africa up till now cannot still accept the fact that Africa has been where they have always farmed and developed their country. It's so very, 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 very unfortunate. that up till now the leaders refuse to accept that Africa is where they have benefited from and they ought to begin to enjoy their resources. It's so very, very wicked of the Western leaders.
So first it was America tried to invite Airbnb Traore to the White House. Donald Trump tried to invite Airbnb Traore to the White House. He declined that offer. He said, no, I got a country to build. I got a country to run. I got people that depending on me to win. So I don't need that distraction right now. No, Saudi Arabia offer Burkina Faso Airbnb Traore to build 200 mosques, not 200 mosques in the country. Why? Did they tell you they need mosques? Did they tell you they need more mosques? No. But I think that's just a way to smuggle more gold. That's their way to get in to smuggle more gold, because Burkina Faso is about to be the giant of Africa. They want a cut. They want a piece of it. That's it.
Our fellow captain, Ibrahim Traore, he wants all the smoke. He's not here for games. You understand? President, what's his name, Macron? He thought that this was a game. He thought we were our forefathers. He thought we were out here shaking and scared because they were bucking at us. Like, man, if you don't do this, we're gonna do this, do it. We are waiting for you. Do it. We want to see you do it.
The irony of it is like these Western governments still believe we are our ancestors and that we should just take in the bullshit and the bullying or whatever that they think they have going on towards us. But it's not happening. Like the African mind is waking up and I'm here for it. And I love seeing that we have people like Julius Malema, we have Traore, we have the leader of Senegal. These are all young leaders. We also have like Bobi Wine in Uganda. Like these are young leaders that are coming up and they are speaking out even against their own governments, because we are tired of seeing these old leaders in Africa that just want to eat, enjoy. I mean, they only have a few years left. They're not going to be suffering the consequences of everything that they pass. So we are just tired of seeing them. Like they should just rest. So I really love what Traore is doing for the African mind. The youth are looking up to him, and we are like, it's actually possible to stand up for your African countries. But the West will always push the propaganda, and every time the West comes out and talks bad about any leader that is outside of the Western countries, especially in Africa, just know that's the right leader that they do not want to see in the seat, because they can no longer come in, take the resources for them to build their countries so that their people live comfortable, and then their own people also come out to us and have this entitlement, forgetting that we are the ones that are actually giving them the luxury of the life that they have, because without our resources, they cannot live or sustain their countries. That's what they should really realize. But also, I landed on a video of a certain lady. She's a white woman. She's like, you know what? Europe is not better than Africa. Like, that is a lie that our government of Europe has always been pushing, but it's not true. And this is what she had to say.
That Europe is better than Africa is something that was put in your head by Europeans. But Africa has everything. Africa is super rich culturally, language-wise, foods, resources. Everything is in Africa. Africans only need to take back control of their continent. I also met a girl from the Netherlands. She was also traveling. We met in Mauritania and then we met in Senegal and in Gambia. So we came across each other several times and we had this discussion several times that we were always feeling guilty because people were hosting us. And we would love to say, I'm gonna host you when you come to Italy, when you come to Belgium. But people cannot come here.
Why not?
Because they don't get visas. Because of their color. And it's just bullshit. It's mind-blowing, this thing that people cannot just travel freely, because a lot of people I met, my age, they don't want to come to Europe to stay here. They just want to travel as I do, to see something different, to meet their friends or their family that live here already. But they cannot. And I had to call my mom and cry about it. Because it's not fair.
Away from football, tell me why the Western world, why are they interested in the politics of Burkina Faso? Why are they planning and attempting to oust this leader, Traore? Why are they interested in ousting him? if it is not for political gains, why should anybody think of ousting a president who has prioritized education in his country and made education from primary to university free, including textbooks? Why should any country that is thinking well, why should they be planning to oust a leader like this man? Democracy is the biggest scam that has ever shown up in political discourse, and Western country has sold to us. The earlier we began to understand that democracy, as the name implies, should be customized by different nationals or different countries, the better for us. 18 assassination attempts, allegedly. 18. You are supporting that this man should be removed so that they can install their puppets that will now be carrying all the resources, natural resources of the country, to go and use it to improve the lot of the Western colonialists. Africans and her leaders, rise up and protect this man. This is a prize jewel in our midst. Protect him.
The fact that their own people as well now understand like they cannot live without Africa, but they are still pushing the narrative is wild. And I mean, their empire is really falling, so they have to like bring in their imperialism and try to like bully African leaders, especially the young ones, and to make us like just squeeze ourselves to just let them take whatever they want. But it's not going to happen, and we're not going to let it happen. Yeah, it's going to be a fight, but I mean, I think it's something that we are willing to have if we want to see Africa, develop. But also, I love that I'm seeing also our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, like the Black Americans, Caribbeans, and Black British also coming in, and they're like, what, this is not okay. Like I've seen a lot of videos of them like coming in and calling out the West, like Trump is trying to bully Africa into like submitting to them. And it's insane. It's insane. Like a country that cannot even make anything for itself but depend on other people and just print a paper feels so entitled that they can just boss around people is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. So when Africa is rising and we are starting to control our resources, that is powerful. And these nations in the West know they cannot sustain themselves. That's why they have to like run to each other, like Macron ran to the US, and they are now trying to arrest Traore, calling him a dictator the same way they called Idi Amin Dada of Uganda, because he was chasing away the Indians. He was all for black people. He was really rooting. He was sending people to go and fight in South Africa in apartheid, like Gaddafi as well, giving education to his people. They always attack leaders that are doing well, but then turn around, come to us, and they're like, oh, you're trying to promote democracy, like those nations are not democratic or whatever, like we should be a democratic place and all that, which is insane. And in a country right now where people don't even have freedom of speech, in the US, like people are just taken off grid, like somehow people are just sent away, even if they're citizens. People are losing jobs. People are really like messed up right now. That's a problem that they should be thinking about now than to think of the resources of Africa. And it should be that way. It should be that way. But I mean, they will never stop, because they know when Africa develops, Europe is going to go back to where it came from, the dust. It's not bragging, but the reality stays. Without Africa, the whole world cannot sustain itself or stay. I mean, I also shared a video, like even when it comes to these brands or, these things that people produce or manufacture in China, most of the resources, the raw resources, still come from Africa. So still, like I said, without Africa's resources, the whole world literally cannot sustain itself or live. So let that sink in. Let that sink in. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks for the super members, the chats, and super chats. I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in another video. Bye.